Everything Everywhere All at Once wins big at the SAG Awards, but it's Mark Wahlberg who gets slammed.
What? No.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. God, I love being able to play that clip. The Happening, one of the worst, best movies of all time. Yeah, no, look, this was a weird moment. I wanted to break it down for you. Last night's SAG Award streamed on Netflix's YouTube. It went from cable now to Netflix, but Netflix's YouTube, it was very odd. But Everything Everywhere All at Once, which won, which by the way, I really did enjoy. Wonderful movie. It's winning all the awards this season. The Best Picture, the Best Cast Ensemble Award, the final award of the night, was handed out by Mr. Mark Wahlberg. Now, why is this an issue? Here it is.
And the actor goes to?
The actor goes to, here it is, Mr. Mark Wahlberg giving it away.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Now, why is this a big deal? Oh, well, a lot of people on Twitter quickly realized this is embarrassing. Really? Will Smith wasn't invited to present Best Actress to Mark Wahlberg is bringing the Ensemble Award to a film with a predominantly Asian cast when he punched and nearly blinded a Vietnamese man. I gotta say, Mark Wahlberg, who literally went to jail as a teen for committing a hate crime against a Vietnamese man, President's Award to the cast of Everything All at Once was certainly a choice. It must have been quite a shock for Mark Wahlberg to witness a group of Asians beating white people. Okay, that one made me laugh. But yeah, look, people were really upset overall online, as here was, because for those of you who don't know, yeah, when Mark Wahlberg was a kid, he was arrested twice. And ASSAULT two Asian men in 1988. Now, I wanted to get a little bit more information on this. Whatever happened, obviously the hate was real online. People were upset with Mark being there, almost like glossing over the fact, really, is he the one to give this award? But I wanted to go do my own due diligence. What did he actually get accused of? Because I don't remember. I mean, I knew he was, not saying it didn't happen, but let's break down what actually happened here, because there is something interesting about this, and I want to get your thoughts on this. In fact, before we get your thoughts in the comments, can you verify you're subscribed? I see it's finally going back up. So hit that bell, hit that button, smash that like button, leave your thoughts on this topic, because I'm curious where you stand on this. Because in 1986, a then 15-year-old Wahlberg and three friends were charged with chasing three black children and pelting them with rocks while yelling really bad stuff until the ambulance driver arrived. He was then harassing another group of mostly black children around the age of 9 or 10 at a beach, gathering other white men to join in racially saying mean things and throwing rocks. Seemingly unrelated second incident happened 2 years later in 1988 when Wahlberg attacked two Vietnamese men while high on the drug PCP. He called the man Thang Lung I can't say, but slurs, knocked him unconscious with a 5-foot wooden stick while punching other men and Army veteran Johnny Trin in the eye later in the same day. Officers reported that Wahlberg used racist slurs to describe both men. Now, what was he actually charged with? In the first attack, he was found guilty of violating the civil rights of his victims, with a civil rights injunction being issued against him and two of his friends, and the case settled the next month. So he was able to get a pass on the first one, which whether or not he should have, he was. The later one, though, because it happened again, and he had already pleaded with attempted murder and pleaded guilty to felony assault, claiming he was intoxicated and that the attacks weren't race related. Due to his previous civil rights injunction prohibiting him for doing this or intimidating anyone because of race or nationality, he was found to be in contempt of court and was sentenced to a 2-year prison sentence for the second instance. But he only served 45 days of his 2-year sentence. Now, again, he was 16 when this happened. Later, he in 2014, obviously way later, he attempted to seek pardon from that second attack to have it wiped from his criminal record, saying while his celebrity should in no way, shape, or form be the reason to grant it, he hoped his recent actions would show that he has changed. I'm deeply sorry for the actions I took on the night of April 8th, 1988, as well as for any lasting damage that I may have caused the victims. I guess only that night, not the previous nights. Wahlberg wrote in his pardon application. And notice he wrote this in a pardon application, not even to the person. Since that time, I've dedicated myself to becoming a better person and citizen so that I can be a role model to my children and others. He later then dropped his request 2 years later, and in a 2020 interview, he explained he had done the work to make things right. I took it upon myself to own up to my mistakes, go against the grain, and not be a part of the gang anymore, to say that I was going to go and do my own thing. It made it 10 times more difficult to walk away from my home, to the train station, to go to school, to go to work. But I also prided myself on doing the right thing and turning my life around. I would hope that people would be able to get a second chance in life. Now, here's where things get interesting, because a lot of people suspect the reason he filed for this pardon was because he wanted to open up more Wahlburgers. And there were certain areas that he couldn't open up Wahlburgers because of his criminal record. Even though he was a child, he still had this on there. So many suspected that's really why he did it. And so for a moment, as I was researching, I'm like, yeah, why didn't you do more of a public apology than the pardon? And then maybe later you could ask for that or something. But here's where things got more interesting. And I didn't know this until I just went down the rabbit hole today. I missed this story. One of the men that he, hurt badly, basically has accepted the apology and wants his forgiveness. He forgives the star and reveals he had no idea who he was until now, when this article came out in 2014, when the pardon was being, pulled, or I guess the pardon was being asked. They tracked the man down, Johnny Trin, who was the one who got hurt. And he, says it was awful, but he says the media was wrong. They said that Mark Wahlberg injured his eye. No, he lost his eye in the war. It was a war injury. He was already blind in one eye after being injured while fighting the communists in the Vietnam War. And that wasn't what triggered it. I was not blinded by Mark Wahlberg. He did hurt me, but my left eye was already gone. He was not responsible for that. In an interview with Online, he said he's happy for Wahlberg to be given a pardon, saying he was young and reckless, but I forgive him now. Everyone deserves another chance. I would like to see him get a pardon. He should not have the crime hanging over his head any longer. He then also added he would like to meet Wahlberg face-to-face to tell him he does not bear a grudge. He paid for his crime when he went to prison. I'm not saying that it did not hurt when he punched me in the face, but it was a long time ago. He has grown up now. I am sure he has his own family and is a responsible man. Man, wow. What a human being. And honestly, that's where now I stand. Now there's another person. I don't know what he says. He got hit. I don't think it was as aggressive, but it was still bad. And the things Wahlberg said, again, as a teen, were atrocious and awful. But man, this guy's, I gotta agree with Johnny here. At a certain point, when do we let someone, prove he's right? Now, according to documents, Wahlberg approached afterwards and called him, said these terrible things. But apparently, as Johnny makes it clear, he was high on something. It was very clear this guy was out of it, etc. And so, it's interesting to hear all this come down. So now going back to the story, knowing the full story, I want your comments down below as well as we're doing that. Was this a bad look for the SAG Awards to allow him to be giving this award to, the Asian cast? So a big moment for Asian actors everywhere to see representation like this. And for a film that was fantastic, get its due. The whole cast gets awarded. What do you think about it now? Everyone on Twitter obviously giving him crap for it. Good for Mark Wahlberg singing on stage with all these Asian people without assaulting any of them. Should he, he's going to have to live with that forever based on how Twitter works. But should we be holding that over his head forever? What do you guys think of this? I'm curious your thoughts. Was this a gaffe? Are the SAG Awards responsible? Should they have gone through and been like, all right, we need to look at every nominated film. And now in the age of never offending anyone, we got to look through every film and then go through and see, if someone wins, will it be offensive that Mark is doing this? Is that what we need to do now? They didn't know that this was going to happen. I assume the SAG Awards are not, sealed and some banker, Price Waterhouse, somebody has the results. It's not like they were purposely giving Mark Wahlberg a chance to do it. It was possible and it happened, but should they be faulted, or is this just something that, he does, is he allowed to be out there doing this again? I'm curious what you guys think. I gotta side with the victim. If the victim wants to give him redemption, he was 16. I do believe Mark Wahlberg has grown as a person. It does seem like that. Was he the best person growing up? No, but we all get the opportunity to change. I haven't seen any recent accusations of this. So should we keep hanging this over his head of what he did when he was 16? Yeah, he was found guilty. This was a real thing he did. But shouldn't we be able to forgive the man? That's what I'm curious about, and that's where I'm going to go. It looks like the cast did. They're all posing with him. So good on him. I hope he is making difference, and I hope he uses this press opportunity to not hide from it and run from it, but own it and be like, yeah, that's not me. That was never me. And before I wrap up this video, I want to give props to James Hung, the legendary, who gave a very, I got to be careful on my playing clips, but he gives his
leading
anecdote.
role.
Back then, he talks about, because he's been doing films forever. If you're unfamiliar with James Hong, my gosh, Big Trouble in Little China, Kid Kung Fu Panda, Blade Runner, Golden Child, from Airplane to Chinatown, Wayne's World 2, Tango and Cash. Just the amount of films this man has made are legendary. And he shares an anecdote of when he was, one of his first films, and the how Hollywood treated Asians back then.
Was played by these guys with the eyes taped up like this.
That's what they did. That, for those of you who don't remember how roles were back in the day, that's how it went. And you can see even his co-stars uncomfortable as he brings this back up.
And the producer said the Asians were not good enough.
That was the reasoning. Why were they doing all this racist casting, doing that thing with the tape, with the offensive stuff? Why were they doing that? Because they weren't bankable.
And they are not box office. But look at us now, huh?
Bravo. Look at them now, indeed. It's a wonderful film if you haven't seen it. James Hong, the legend, Michelle Yeoh, everybody in this cast does a great job. Yeah, check it out. I'm curious what your take on this Mark Wahlberg thing. Was it embarrassing, or do you agree he deserves forgiveness? I want to hear your comments down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button at the top corner, or click on one of these videos as well. We'll be live later today. I hope to see you guys there. Thanks so much for watching here on Popcorn Planet.